where you haters at now? Where you haters at now?
It was a win, and it was a cinematic game at that, up and down story.
One second. Is this on? Welcome to the NFL, Drake Maye. As I like to say, Mr. Put the Superman cape on and took the team on his back. Sloppy game, but when you needed it, the boy delivered.
Hey, Rob, I got one question for you, okay?
What?
I got one question, and that question is, you know what, chat? This is also for you, chat. You are more than welcome to also answer this question. My question is, how do we feel about getting the monkey off of our backs and getting the first win in the Mike Vrabel era?
Yeah, baby! Let's go!
Oh, dude,
hey, look, I'm going to tell you right now, without our starting corner, so, I mean, it's a trickle-down effect. Wait till he comes back. Wait till he comes back. It's going to ship shape.
There was a lot of good. There was a lot of bad. At the end of the day, the biggest thing that I want people to remember is that it doesn't matter how close you win a game or how close you lose a game. The only thing that matters is the overall outcome, okay? You don't win the division or lose the division because you almost won a game or almost lost a game. It all comes down to what you did.
No moral victories around here.
Most points on the scoreboard. At the end of the day, I would prefer an ugly win than a confident loss, because that's the wins are what's going to help this team moving forward. And like I said, Rob, there's a lot of good, but there's certainly a lot of bad to get into. This game was really, really close. And
it was God
up until the end, Rob. And if you think about this, and look, who knows, maybe they could have went down the field and tied the game or ultimately won the game. We don't know what would have happened, but if Devon Achane did not step out of bounds, there's a real world in which we are talking about this game being different. It is a game of inches, and today, that's what it came down to. But, Rob, the only difference is that today the Patriots came out with the win on the other side. Do you remember the game in Gillette Stadium last year with the Miami Dolphins? It was a game of quite literal inches with Jalen Polk. But except this time, the Patriots are on the right side of history, man. And let me tell you, Patriots fans, this is why, okay? I love you guys, but this is why you stay confident.
Hey, where's Edward in the chat? Where are you at in the chat, bro? Nikolai?
Live party. The live
No. Nikolai, didn't you predict the win, Nikolai? No, I keep receipts, bro. Like, you better stand on business. I'm petty. I told you, Draco. Call him Draco. Draco, put some respect on his name.
Draco Chains, man. Now, look, it was getting dark. For anybody that was there during the watch party, it was getting absolutely dark. I mean, even when the Patriots
I don't blame him.
That interception, it was still like, oh, we're going to lose. And I was like, guys, I understand why we feel down, why we don't feel good, but let's manifest this win. Let's get lit. Let's get loud. Let's be positive. Let's get this win. And that's exactly what happened, guys. Let's remember one thing. I feel like as Patriots fans, we should remember this more than any other fan base, but the game is not over until the clock hits 0. Do we remember Super Bowl 51? Did we?
That's a perfect example.
Did we sit down and cry and say, well, we're going into the third quarter, we're going into the fourth quarter, and we're down 28-3? No, we didn't. No, we stayed focused. We stayed in the game because the clock hits 0. That is when the game is over. And that's how the Patriots played today. But Rob, just your initial kind of thoughts, your initial feelings, your initial reactions from where this team is, where the vibes are at, and just getting the monkey off the back. Because Rob, big thing about this game is that there were two storylines. The storylines were Mike Vrabel during his time with the Tennessee Titans was undefeated
2-0.
Against 2-0. Exactly. Undefeated against Tua and the Miami Dolphins. But the Patriots, whether it was Gerard Mayo, whether it was Bill Belichick, Tua is undefeated against the New England Patriots. And
it's another storyline
in Miami. The Patriots haven't won in Miami since 2019. That was the game where it was AB, Josh
1, 2, 3.
It's a lot of storylines. Mike Vrabel's first win too.
How about not putting up 30 points since 2022? So like that's another thing that happened today. Like there are so many, like October so 16th. Many things. Like bro, like it's.
Yep.
We played such a sloppy game and won. That's what I have to put in perspective to everybody. That this team didn't just Mail it in. They showed fight. Was it clean? No. It was literally what you would equate to we got in the bar, we started throwing jabs. They threw a jab, we threw a. Oh my God, the perfect, if there was Rocky Balboa versus Drago, it was literally the punt return touchdown, and then Antonio Gibson said, "Hold my beer."
98-yard touchdown, I believe it was.
He's like, that's a nice little 75-yard return you got. Hold my beer. How many times have I said Antonio Gibson gets at least one play per game that you're like, holy crap?
This guy deserves more touches. I mean, it was really just a back and forth game. How many possession changes were there? it was a literal cinematic game. And the game started off to where you're thinking like, okay, the Patriots might actually win this game pretty confidently. You go down there and you get an opening drive touchdown, and then Dolphins don't do anything on their opening drive for their offense. And the Patriots come back on offense and they drive right back down the field and put it in the end zone again. And you're like, this could actually get ugly. But then Miami's offense started to pick things up. The Patriots defense started to lack. And this game really went drive for drive down to the wire. And nobody thought that it was going to be this offensive shootout. And the other thing I'll tell you too, Rob, is, and understandably so, I'm not getting on anybody for this, but if you had asked any Patriots fan headed into this game and you said to them that the winner of this game would be the team that was able to put up 30 points first, I guarantee you no Patriots fan was going to be like, oh, we're going to win this game. And understandably so. You got Tua, you got A-Chain, you got Tyreek, you got Waddle, like that. You got Mike McDaniel. That is a team that should be able to put up more points, but they didn't.
I mean, realistically, when you look at it, their offense only put up 20 points. They had a punt return touchdown. They only put up 20. So, I mean, I'll take that. That's a dub in my books. You went against a track team. Like, people, this is Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon A-Chain. And like, it's just, that's a lot to account for.
That's a lot of speed to account for. And we knew that the Patriots defense was going to be a little bit rough. I did like how they fared. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm talking for too many hours. I did like how they fared in this game against Miami compared to recent years, because I do think that the defense is a little bit quicker, a little bit more faster, but it's still certainly not where it needs to be if you're going to keep up with the team like Miami's offense. And so we knew that this was going to be a shootout, and that's exactly what it was. And that transitions us here into the offense. Let's start off here with Drake Maye, because Drake Maye, I think, absolutely balled today. He had the game that I think everybody wanted him to have. Did he go out there and put up 5 touchdowns? Did he go out there and have an 80-yard touchdown, 300 yards?
Felt like it.
He didn't, but exactly. It felt like it because Drake Maye just did what he was supposed to. He made the correct reads. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. He rarely ever missed a throw in this game. I mean, if you look at even the one missed throw he had, it really wasn't even a missed throw. It was missed chemistry in the third quarter between him and Stephon Diggs. He's expecting Stephon Diggs to sit in the soft spot in the zone. And
there was a pass in the flat to him. There was a pass in the flat, I think, to Mac Hollins. I think he kind of let it too far, too.
So yeah, there was maybe 1 or 2 passes that you're like, okay, let's have.
But you're nitpicking at that point. You're like nitpicking at that point. Like you're splicing hairs. He had, this was his best game of his career. So far, it's 100% his best game, because these were the games last year that we 100% don't win, because like everything that could go wrong this game did go wrong. Like, I mean, Garrett Bradbury's freaking fumbled snap. Like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
I agree. I mean, Drake Maye, though, goes 19 for 23. I think the big thing in this game was making sure that you don't ask him to pass the ball 40 times again, and they didn't. 19 for 23, over an 80% completion percentage, 230 yards. 82% completion percentage to be exact, 12.1 yards per throw, 2 passing touchdowns, 0 turnovers, sacked 3 times, and an overall quarterback rating of 137.3. On top of that, also ran the ball 10 times, Rob. We wanted to see Drake Maye run the ball a little bit more. Well, he did. 10 times, 31 yards, 3.1 yards per run, long run of 13 yards, and 1 touchdown. He did it through the air. He did it on the ground. It's only a matter of time before Drake Maye goes out there and puts up 300 yards. But big thing for him, for me right now, isn't can he get to a 300-yard game? The biggest question is, can he take care of the football? Because, Rob, you see a game like this, and if you think about it, if Drake Maye turns the football over even once, there's a good chance the Patriots do not come out with this win. He doesn't turn the football over. It's a close game. Offense puts up 30, and they ultimately end up to come out with the W. This is exactly why we say, Drake, you can't turn the football over, because of games exactly like this. So I think overall for me, Drake Maye, whether he was passing the football, whether he was running the football, I thought that he was just making really great decisions all game long. There wasn't a play that I looked at, I'm like, oh yeah, 100%, that was rough. Drake Maye wants to, he's going to want that ball back. Or even saying, okay, Drake Maye didn't turn the ball over, but there was 3 turnover-worthy plays that he just got lucky with. There wasn't even those. I thought he was accurate with the football, and I think a big part of that was clearly because this past week, him, Josh McDaniels, the coaching staff, they really worked on his mechanics. Because if you look at last week, he's soaring balls over guys' heads, he's inaccurate passes, interceptions, he doesn't look like he's comfortable in the pocket, and a lot of that came with the inaccurate footwork. His mechanics and his lower body didn't look good, but this week, they looked really good. It looked solid. It looked smooth. It looked solidified. It looked like it was just one whole dance move from the moment he snaps the football to the moment that his release comes out. And I think that is why we saw him be a lot more accurate and hit his wide open passes today. I thought he was smart with the football, taking the check down when it was needed, understanding, yes, I'm the type of quarterback that loves to push the ball down the field, but if they're going to take away everything atop of the field, then I'm just going to dink and dunk. And the fact that today, the wide receivers really didn't show up, but Drake Maye said, okay, well then I'm going to beat you with my running backs through the air, I thought is just a testament to just how well he played today.
We had the gotta need it plays. Like there was a lot of we needed this play to happen. Like that 56-yard pass to Ramondre Stevenson will forever be engraved into my freaking brain, because up until that point, it was just like we weren't getting, there was just penalties, and it was really like, I'm like, that was the turning point. I looked at my fiance, wifey, and I looked at her. I'm like, hey, listen, we need something. And then boom, delivers a 56-yard pass to Ramondre Stevenson. By the way, great freaking catch by Ramondre. Yeah. Welcome back to the New England Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson. Had to remind y'all. S27, yes. I was right about Drake Maye. I told you guys, you got to be patient with this kid. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't go out next week and maybe struggles a little bit, but it's like, be patient for what it's worth. He came out today and he didn't put the ball in harm's way. I told you, Colby, I said this last week, all he needs to do is get a win. That's something, a quality win that can build towards the future. And now he has the confidence. Now this team has some confidence, has some swagger. And this is a lot of moving parts, a lot of new moving parts that are going on with this team, that we can't expect this thing to just be firing on all cylinders. Now we got the win, build off of it. And Drake Maye's definitely a part of this win.
What I really liked too is I just feel like last week, maybe Josh McDaniels was asking him to play in a type of offense that it just wasn't really set to his skill set, the one quarterback design run, and asking him to stay in the pocket and pass like a classic pocket passing quarterback. He's not Brady. He's not Mac Jones. He's the type of guy that needs to use his legs. He needs to extend plays. He needs to get outside of the pocket. And I thought that's what he did today. How many times did we see fake handoffs, motion, all that good stuff, allowing Drake Maye to get outside of the pocket, throw on the run, because that's what Maye likes to do. It allows him to extend the play. He doesn't have to rely specifically all on the offensive line to block for him inside of the pocket. Also, too, it allows the defense to kind of bring their attention more towards Drake Maye when he gets outside of the pocket, which is then going to allow his receivers and guys downfield to get open too. And I think when we saw him get outside the pocket and not have to be a pure pocket passing quarterback, that's when we saw him making those plays. And that's when we saw him look a lot more comfortable. So I don't even think that it's praise for Drake Maye, but it's praise for Josh McDaniels, who we got on last week, and rightfully so. This week, I thought they came out, the game plan was good, and I thought that they really worked with Drake Maye to start tailoring this offense with what is truly going to work with him. So again, there's going to be a lot more difficult competitions. I want to see what he's going to look like when we face a secondary that's also good on top of a D-line. But at least for this game, he did what he was supposed to, and he didn't turn the ball over. And this team needs momentum, because if you don't have momentum and you lose it mentally, especially as a quarterback in this league, it's really, really hard to gain that back. And sometimes just having that momentum, having that win, whether it's against an easy opponent or a hard opponent, can really go a long way. But now let's see him capitalize on these things. Let's see him start to get better, because what I definitely want to see is that his connection with this wide receiver core is also going to build as weeks go on.
I want to see an identity. I don't quite know what the identity of this team is yet. Like, that's my biggest thing. And having him develop with this team and having Josh McDaniels, I think Josh McDaniels definitely went to the drawing board and opened up some more plays that kind of utilize what he did in college more. Get him on the run. He's very accurate when he's throwing the football on the run. I've noticed that more. It's crazy. That people think that like he's not Tom Brady. He's not going to pass the football from in the pocket. Get him utilize his ability to throw it on the run, because then the defense has to respect that, because it's like maybe he pretends like he throws on the run and tucks in runs. Like he has the ability to like I like you said, Colby. He has the ability to just take it off and use his legs. And not only that, like I can't point out a play where I was like, okay, why did you do that? Like, why did he tucked and run when he needed to? He passed. He passed really freaking accurately today, and I'm excited about the future of what this kid can do, and I just hope that like the people of Pats Nation will not take this as another knee jerk reaction. Just be patient and support the kid. Yeah, I know I just went on a rant. I'm sorry.
Did you see him and Mike Vrabel too? It felt like all game long, even when they were going to the locker room. Like you just see the connection between not just Josh McDaniels and Maye, but but Maye and Mike Vrabel also. And I think that'll go a long way. I mean, just even we touched upon this in the pregame, or the preview, was that Josh McDaniels coming out and being like, we need to do better. That is our guy. He is not the problem. For him to back up Drake Maye and say that, like, no, Drake Maye is legit. Drake Maye is the guy. And then for them to go out and really tailor an offense around him, and then he comes out and looks like this, it really does make you think that, look, maybe from what we saw in week one, maybe it was those growing pains. And maybe it still is Josh McDaniels trying to figure out how to run this offense with a very different quarterback like Drake Maye that he really hasn't had the opportunity to work with before, which is why we're saying it's going to take time. We're like, week one is not going to be the team that we get in week 18.
We said this. This is really scratching the surface of what this team can be capable of, especially when it comes to Drake Maye. Like, he's not had a quarterback like this. He's not had a quarterback that has like Cam Newton's legs and like some of what Brady can do with his arm. So it's the playbook is going to open up, and I'm curious and I'm excited about what the capabilities of what this team can do and Drake Maye.
Yeah, I agree. Big shout out to my boy Patriots 92 comes in with a $10 donation and said, let that be a lesson. And nobody holds the Patriots to fewer than 30 points 47 times in a row. I mean, I it shouldn't have been the stat in the beginning, but
damn, don't lie. Think of the grave.
We didn't make it 50 times in a row, Rob. So basically, Super Bowl. Basically,
silver lining, right?
Silver lining. You know what? Patriots 92. You're looking on the bright side, and I'm for it. With all the negativity, lately, like I could use the bright side. It could have been 50, but it was 47 instead. I love it. Absolutely love it. Rob,
Jesus.
Now, what were your thoughts on the running game? Because last week that was a big reason on why Drake Maye had to throw the ball almost 50 times. There's no running back that was helping him last week, and a very one-dimensional offense with passing. This week it felt a little bit different. It's not where it needs to be. For a team that wants to be centered around running the football, you still want them to be better against defenses that are going to be much harder than the Miami Dolphins. But Ramondre Stevenson, 11 attempts, 54 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. Like we said earlier, Drake Maye was also on the ground, 10 attempts, 31 total yards. Antonio Gibson, 5 carries, 27 yards, 5.4 yards per carry. And then Travion Henderson, 3 attempts, 10 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. It didn't feel like, and we got a couple of them for sure. Again, Ramondre Stevenson went for a 21-yard run. Drake Maye went for a 13-yard run, and Antonio Gibson went for a 15-yard run. So some of that we didn't get splash plays in the running game, but for the most part in the game, it was just, those few-yard runs. And that's okay, because it allowed the Patriots to be in second and short and third and short situations when they weren't shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. And that allowed this offense to be multi-dimensional, saying that, look, we could run the football on you if we wanted to, but we can also pass the football, which allowed the defense, or which rather made Miami's defense respect what the New England Patriots were going to do. And that's what opened up the pass game a little bit more, especially guys on screens and guys underneath.
You took the words out of my mouth. The fact that we were able to at least keep the defense of the Miami Dolphins at bay because we could run the ball decently, not great, it was decent, made it to where you can open up with play action. You can do maybe some RPOs. It just opened up the field a lot more, because then you get in situations where, like, okay, is Drake Maye gonna run the football or is he gonna pass the football? And that's really just like the catalyst of what I think is gonna keep this machine humming. that like if we could run the ball consistently, I'm not saying that like we should be world beaters, the best rushing team in the NFL, but if we can just be like middle of the pack and we can keep them at bay, it will make it where you can open up the play action. You can use Drake Maye in situations where it's like, okay, crap, is he gonna run the football or is he gonna pass the football? Where as in like that rushing touchdown that he got, they were at that point in the game where they were like, oh crap, how do we defend him? And then he gets a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I think when you have to account not just for the running game, but you also have to account for Drake Maye, that also helps the pressure. You can't just pin your ears back and rush a quarterback like Drake Maye because he will make you miss. There is that mobility sense. It really does keep a defense on its toes. Guys, I know I've said this so much, and we've said it so much over the last couple of years, but it's been so true that the Patriots offense has been so vanilla. It's been so one-dimensional, and that's been a lot of their issues, is that when you're going to run the type of offense where me and Rob and even your grandma could tell you exactly what the Patriots are going to do, you're not going to have a whole lot of success, right? Like the one upper hand that offenses should have in this league is that as long as it's designed correctly, there's this question on what can they do? What could they run? They could kill the play at the line, and now they're going to switch it up based off of what they're seeing that the defense is going to be giving them. Those are things that you cannot do if you're going to be one-dimensional either on the ground or through the air. So, look, I've been saying for a long time, too, stop the Ramondre Stevenson hate. I get it that he had a fumble problem last year, but it was the first time that it was like a legitimate problem. Never saying he never had fumbles, but last year was the first time it was a legitimate problem. The issue with Ramondre was never talent. The issue for Ramondre was putting the football on the ground and just ball security. He has been fine with that. Like the turnovers haven't been a problem. The talent is there. You know that the talent is there. Guess what? Last week, it didn't showcase itself because the Patriots had one of the worst run-blocking offensive lines in all of football in week one. Your running backs can't get anything going if there's no blockers ahead of them. It's just like last year. Why are you expecting your running backs to do anything when there's 3 defenders in the tracks as soon as the ball is handed off? You can't do it. Don't expect somebody else to do it because it's just not realistic. So I thought that Ramondre, good game today. I thought that the running, we'll talk about the offensive line, but I did think that the run blocking did certainly improve, and that's why we saw Ramondre get a little bit better. Ramondre is one of those guys where I don't want to say he won't break off a 50-yard run because he certainly can, but he's not Travion Henderson. But he is the type of guy that can consistently give you those 10, 15-yard runs because he's a bulldozing back that is going to stiff arm you. I also think that people slept on Ramondre Stevenson's receiving ability, which, Rob, we'll talk about when we get into the receivers. But what were your thoughts on Travion Henderson not getting a whole lot of opportunities? I know he was someone that a lot of fans want to see involved a lot more. He was involved a lot last week. And like I alluded to, he only had 3 total attempts for 10 yards on the ground.
If I had to chalk it up to anything, maybe it has something to do with situational. Like maybe the guys that are on the defensive line, it doesn't cater to Travion Henderson's run style. I don't know. He had a lot of plays where like the guy was holding, and maybe that also was a catalyst as to why he wasn't running the football so much because he was committing penalties, whether it be in the run game or on special teams.
Yeah, I think that's why. Like, if you ask me why is Travion Henderson not getting more opportunities,
He looked anxious. I don't think it's because they didn't want him there, but he was having a whole lot of penalties. I mean, he had like 4 or 5 penalties just within himself. I think it got to a point where it's like, okay, this guy is a liability right now for whatever reason. He was fine last week. He was fine in the preseason. This week, he's a penalty machine, especially with a head coach like Mike Vrabel. You're not going to get on the field a whole lot. I think that's why we didn't see him as much. I think next week, potentially, it could be a much different story, but shout out to you guys in the chat. D comes in with a $5 donation and said, we need new linebackers because Spillane and Ellis are trash. They can't chill out.
I don't want to say we need like all new linebackers and we have to cut those guys, but linebacker is a sneaky need going into the offseason for the Patriots. And look, there's no nice way to say it. Robert Spillane and Christian Ellis over 2 weeks have been, and we'll talk about it when we get into the defense, but they've been really, really bad with tackling, especially Robert Spillane. Like, that's a guy that's always around the football, but he's arm tackling, and you just see guys bouncing off of him time after time. The Patriots are one of the worst teams in the NFL in week 1 in terms of missed tackle percentage. I would imagine we're probably pretty high up there again. So
yeah, that's pretty bad. Especially coming from a guy that was like, really, the guy was one of the most sure tacklers in the NFL. So this is something's got to change with him. And he did. I mean, I don't know if you saw like when they were going out of the stadium and they were Robert Spillane, you know how they go, oh, Dubs and all that stuff. Robert Spillane didn't look happy. So maybe that's a sign that maybe he's like, hey, listen, I need to change something.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this guy's a captain, right? He's a big piece to the team and the defense, but right now he can't tackle to save his life. He's doing the hard part, right? Like he's in the right place. He's in the right place. He's always around the football, but it's making sure you tackle when you get there, that it's all right. These guys are bouncing off. And Rob, we saw that last week when Jacoby Myers looked like one of the best yards after the catch receivers in the league. But like I said, I can see
it'll happen, man. I'm not worried.
Yeah, especially with
he's not gonna all of a sudden turn into a bad player. Like he's a good player. It's just like sometimes you just gotta shake off the rust.
Yeah, it'll certainly get better. Shout out to my boy SGT Moonshine, $5 donation. He says, Stevenson had a great game today. Started to look like he used to back in 2021, 2022. Loving the potential of this offense as a whole. Go Pats. Love it, SGT Moonshine.
Go Pats.
I do agree with you. But Antonio Gibson, is this the type of guy that you want to give him more opportunities on the offensive side of the football?
Yes and no, because there are times if we're maybe in the passing game, yes, because this is a guy that was a wide receiver converted running back. I think that maybe give him the ball in the flat, have him catch the ball and or on a screen pass. The guy, like, how many times, Colby, do you see this guy rip off like huge plays in the last like 2 years he's been with us? Like a guy, he just does do that. So I wouldn't mind it. Yeah. Why not? Because Travion Henderson right now, I mean, I don't want to shatter the kid's confidence, but he's not looking great.
Yeah, I mean, Gibson was one of the best in the league last year, believe it or not, in yards after contact and forced missed tackles. So he's certainly good enough. He's a wide receiver that was converted to running back when the Commanders drafted him. I said last year we got to get him more involved. I think even this year, certainly someone we need to get more involved. We could use him in that Rex Burkhead role, and I think that he'd be perfectly fine in there. And we know that Josh McDaniels can scheme that up. I'm not saying he's going to get, 10, 15 carries a game, but I think that he's certainly someone that you can give 7 to 10 carries and feel pretty good about what he's going to give you, especially with what he's going to do on special teams. Like, this guy certainly does have a role. And Rob, just what a roller coaster of emotions, feeling like,
dude,
Malik Washington gets that punt return when he very, very clearly should have been tackled, but he's patient. He bounces it to the outside. He dodges 2 Patriots special teamers, and then he
Brandon
brings it to the
Schooler.
house, and your hands are just to your head, man. And you're just like, in a close game, how do you let them get the lead right now when you just punted from your own end zone? So certainly was a mix of emotions. But then you have Antonio Gibson on the very next play for like a 98-yard touchdown return for 98-yard touchdown return. And Rob, I'm going to show you this because this was from the live watch party. If you guys are ever wondering, why should I'm
going to be honest with you. I need to go back and watch the roller coaster of emotions you go through. I need to watch that.
No, you do, because like it's real time, and like that's why like my voice right now, I'm trying to be a little bit more mellow. Because
dude, I have no voice.
I was screaming. But
I woke up my baby.
Photos. I gotta find the clip and I gotta post that. But these were the roller coaster of emotions I was going through. And by the way, what I'm about to show you was in 12 seconds. Okay, this all happened in a 12-second span. So this was the Malik Washington punt return. This was me. All right, and then we had the Antonio Gibson 90-yard kick return. And this was me. So literally within 12 seconds, everything for me changed. This is why you go to the watch parties, guys, because you see stuff like this in real time.
That's like before DirecTV and after DirecTV.
Man. I'm waiting to see this on a commercial.
Bro, that was me too. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because Brendan Schooler is a sure tackler, one of the best, if not the best gunner in all of football, and he couldn't bring him down.
There's a very big difference also right now between where I'm at and where TD's at. I want to show you guys this. So, oh man, and TD said, right, over at the AFC East Roundtable Dolphins creator. Make sure you guys check that out tomorrow when we break down these games. But he said, he was like, oh yeah, like this is a get right game. We're blowing them out. Like we're going to blow out the New England Patriots. He's like,
oh, please send me that clip.
This was me and TD at the end of our live watch parties, man. We are not the same. Oh man, tomorrow's episode is gonna be absolutely amazing,
dude.
But
I need to get the video where he said that we were gonna get blown out. I'm gonna troll the shit out of him.
I got you. Yeah,
please,
I got you.
Hey, y'all, if y'all have receipts from any Dolphins fans or just fans in general that thought we were gonna lose this game, please send them to me. Tags right here. Follow if you want.
Instagram, baby. Instagram. Go follow Rob on Instagram. But Rob, let's transition to the offensive line, because I feel like this is a good time after we talked about the running backs. What were your thoughts? Drake Maye ultimately sacked 3 times. They were in the top 14 percentile of pass blocking offensive lines last week, right? They gave Drake Maye an average time to throw of 2.93 seconds. It was really the run blocking that was as rugged as it was. This week, it felt a little bit more well-rounded. I did feel like the pass blocking offensive line, certainly, in my opinion, we got to look at the numbers. It was just based off of the eyesight. I feel like they didn't do as good, but the run blocking improved.
Well, so Jared Wilson was in his bag today. He had 33 pass pro snaps, 0 pressures, 0 QB hits, 0 sacks, 0 hurries, 90.1 pass grade. So, like, he was by far the best. The biggest thing with the offensive line that was giving me just like an aneurysm is the fact that just the penalties, like clean up the penalties, because it was like a lot of the part of the game was just like we moved the ball and then they would commit a back-breaking penalty, and it's like I don't think they did bad today, because I mean, going against that defensive line for the Miami, we even said it before in the pregame that these guys. That's not a slouch. That's a really damn good defensive line, and I think that they did pretty damn well. Jared Wilson, obviously the best, but I think someone sent me a message saying that Morgan Moses might be was in a walking boot. That's a little bit concerning, but overall they did pretty solid. Definitely some more things to improve on. One of the things is being like I think chemistry will improve that. And it'll improve the discipline of this team, and it'll improve that. Just they'll move more in sync. Yeah,
there was definitely questions too about Morgan Moses. Was he going to be able to play in this game? I think he also had a penalty. Will Campbell had a couple of issues with penalties also. So obviously too, you had the Garrett Bradbury late in the game that just botched snap. I don't know. From a veteran, you don't have excuses for that, especially a starter.
You just can't do that, man. That was barely a freaking pitch.
I don't know what it was, because sometimes you see them get a little bit too active in centers and they'll soar it over a quarterback's head. But he put it like wide left of Drake Maye and put it straight to the ground. It's like he was so worried about blocking that he was like, I'm going to try to get this ball back to Drake as soon as possible and immediately go to block that. He just forgot to snap it correctly, and that ultimately hurt the Patriots because they were actually schmoving on that drive. They had a couple of clutch plays there, and then ultimately puts them in like third and like 20 something like that. And so but they put them in a position they just weren't going to succeed, and then they ultimately had to punt the football.
Thank God for Bryce Behringer. Thank God for Bryce Behringer. He was in his bag today. He got kicked the hell out of the football today. So like, although we were backed up quite a bit several times, he kicked us out of it.
Yeah, I think he definitely looked a lot better. But when I look at this offensive line, it certainly comes down to the penalties, right? Like, even if you want to look at the amount of penalties the Patriots
too many
on today. I mean, if you look at, they had 9 last week. So 9 penalties last week, 12 penalties today.
Yeah.
That is over 20 penalties. That is over 20 penalties over the last 2 weeks. You cannot win football games like that. And Rob, I think that's even what made Drake Maye more impressive today, was that how many times with this offense over the last 2-3 years have we seen offensive line will shoot them in the foot because it's penalty, and then it's 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15. That happened a lot today. In fact, they were
too many times
more frequently than they were in 3rd and short. But Drake Maye still found a way to be clutch. I mean, I'm trying to think. They were in their own territory at one point, and it was a 3rd down and like 20-something, and they give basically just this screen to Ramondre Stevenson. They pressure Drake Maye. They send a blitz. Maye somehow gets the football out to him, and Ramondre somehow finds a way on a screen pass on like a 3rd and 20 in their
Bro,
own territory to get the first. It was unbelievable.
that gave me like a glimpse of, remember when it was the preseason game against the Eagles where Drake Maye had a defender right here and he just like passed it off.
Yeah.
That was eerily similar. Like the guy was right in his face. Obviously, it was a design screen pass. You let the guys come in, and it's going to happen. And the dump off was, I mean, last week he would have missed that. So I'm happy. Like it was. Thank God he wasn't panicking because it looked. Screen passes look great today.
It felt like today's win was brought to you by Ramondre Stevenson and Drake Maye, both of those clutch factors. And the reason that we're not talking about just how bad the penalties were for this team, more specifically for the offensive line, is because we came out with a win. It's because the offense put up over 30 points. But
Still bad.
Needs to still be an emphasis. And I know Vrabel will make it one, but even this fan base needs to make sure that we keep this as an emphasis because it's something we struggle with, like I said, over the last couple of years. And we can't rely on them every single week to turn 3rd and 20s, 3rd and 15s into first down. It's just, it's not realistic to continuously be doing that. But again, I think it even further backs up the point on how impressive Drake Maye and Ramondre Stevenson were today. But looking at these wide receivers, okay, you add Ramondre Stevenson. This isn't a joke, guys. I actually swear this. Ramondre Stevenson led you in receiving yards, 5 targets. He was tied for the most targets with Stephon Diggs, but he led the team in receptions and yards. 5 receptions, 88 yards. Ramondre had 17.6 yards per catch. Just what are your thoughts on how the receiving core ultimately played today? I have my thoughts, and then I'll kick it to you, and then I'll go.
I mean, they had when we needed a play, they made the play. I think personally, our receiving core did solid. It was just really stemming back to when we would make a play and then we would get a penalty that would pretty much negate that. So that the biggest thing is that I think moving forward, this wide receiver core is going to get better. And I think that they played really freaking solid today. It's not going to all show up on the stat sheet. Like it was just, the ball was spread around. So there.
When I look at this wide receiver core, you don't love that a running back led you in receiving yards.
Yeah, but he had a 56-yard reception, so.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, Drake Maye in this offense won in a way that the defense allowed them to. And that's what you want to see them do. You don't want to see them go, oh, well, I have too much pride to let a running back lead me in receiving yards. Like, no, we got to force this to the receivers. That's not what you want. You want to essentially take what the defense is giving you. And I feel like that's what McDaniels and that's what Maye did today. And again, Ramondre Stevenson, underrated after the catch. Ramondre Stevenson, underrated as a receiver. If you don't believe me, go look back to how many one-handed catches this guy had in 2022. Like, again, I really do think people are sleeping on Ramondre Stevenson. So
how many times did he get one-handed? How many times did he catch a ball in the flat with one hand in that year? So many times, routinely.
5-yard reception today. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep in mind, even last year, him and Drake Maye have that connection. The Tennessee Titans game, time expires. Drake Maye finds him off his back foot to send the game into overtime against the Titans. Remember that? Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But Austin Hooper, okay? Austin Hooper was second for the Patriots in receiving yards today. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 38 total yards. Last week, I said, look, at some point, defenses are going to start honing in on Hunter Henry. They did that, the Raiders, in the second half of last week's game. And it feels like that was one of the big emphases for the Dolphins today. Take away Hunter Henry. We know Drake Maye loves his big body, reliable security blankets in between the numbers. He loves his tight ends. The great thing about the Patriots is that they have 2 veteran tight ends in Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry. So if they're going to double team Hunter Henry, run 12 personnel. Go Austin Hooper. That is a way that Drake Maye will get the ball out of his hands fast and go to a reliable target. It was really good to see them implement Austin Hooper this week, and I really just hope that they continue to run more 12 personnel and find ways to get Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry more involved. But Stephon Diggs, back-to-back weeks, is 3rd for the Patriots in receiving yards. Like I said, he was tied for the most targets, but 4 receptions, 32 yards, 8 yards per catch. Couple of plays certainly left out there on the field. I think he is still coming back from this injury, but it was good to see him, I feel like, in the mix a little bit more. I feel like last week we saw him all in the second half. Didn't really see him a lot in the first half. I feel like we saw him out there on the field a little bit more. And I think it just now comes down to Drake Maye and Stephon Diggs building that connection. But through 2 weeks, he's at 70-ish yard, like just under 80 total yards, which is just about what Jalen Pope gave you in
He's
his entire
working
career.
back. He's working it back. And honestly, if Drake Maye, that was one of Drake Maye's incompletions. If Drake Maye puts the ball where it needs to be, that's a decent chunk of yards that Stephon Diggs gets. I don't know if you remember where you put that on Diggs. I put that on chemistry. I put that on chemistry because I feel like once that chemistry gets developed, that's a completion, and that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's on both. When it comes down to chemistry plays and misses from chemistry, you can't really put it on one specific guy. It's just one guy thinks you're going one way, another guy thinks that he should go another, and that's ultimately all it was. But I mean, even then, the miss was just barely. Like, they were off with that chemistry just barely. So I think that they'll work on that and they'll be fine. You saw them on the sidelines talking. So excited to see Stephon Diggs as time goes on. I think I
want to see the mic up for this game. I want to see the mic up for this game.
What do you think was mic'd up? Last week it was Caleb on Tayshaun.
I think it might be Stephon Diggs because that hype thing he did before the game where he was telling them, hey, listen, it was a bad taste in our mouth last week. Basically, let's show up this week. I would like to see if he was the one that was mic'd up.
Who was the weekly captain this week? I'm just thinking about that now.
Yeah, that beats me.
I feel like we don't feel like it was reported on who was the team's weekly captain, because last week it was Caleb on. I don't think we heard about who it was this week.
Are they doing that every week?
It's supposed to be a weekly captain.
That's news to me. Maybe that's a Vrabel thing.
Maybe they won't tell us every week. Only time's going to tell. But I do agree that the wide receiver core will get better as time goes on. I think one of the biggest things for me that's so disappointing is last week, Demario Douglas, he had a touchdown, but he was like -3 yards. Today, he was targeted one time, one reception, 8 yards. Like, I understand that maybe he doesn't fit this offense great.
I really don't get the hype behind him.
5'8". But this is a guy that is a gadget player. I want to see more creative ways to try to get this guy more involved. I mean, whether it is a screen pass, whether it's just simple checkdowns, whether you're giving him end arounds and misdirections, like, let's find ways to get Pop Douglas a little bit more involved. Right now, it feels like he's just barely out there on the field.
I don't get the hype behind him. I keep on saying this. Like, I would rather, honestly, at this point, either take Matt Collins or pop Douglas out and put Kyle Williams in there as a field stretcher. Because honestly, like, it'll open up the rest of the offense, and then you're going to have to respect Kyle Williams. Because at this point, he has what? He has 6 yards in 2 games. Like, bro, this is a guy that's been regarded as like, oh my God, this is the wide receiver one possibly for the Patriots, and he's done jack, you know what?
Yeah, I feel like we've seen this story for far too long. It's hard. We said this last week. It's hard to have a receiver that's 5'8", especially given the type of playing style that Drake Maye is. And I love Pop Douglas. I think he's a great football player. I think he's a great human being. He's great for the locker room. I really hope they can figure this out. But I do also wonder, is he the type of guy that they just don't love running out there, given the play style of Drake Maye? Like, think about it. It's Austin Hooper, it's Hunter Henry, it's a veteran in Stephon Diggs, it's Kayshon Boutte, it's Matt Collins. Like, it's a jumbo package offensively. They don't really want those small target, like, shifty guys per se. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like a Julian Edelman, which they don't have.
Yeah, I just really don't see it with him, because it's like, okay, he was regarded as being something that was going to be great for us, and I don't know if it's just we're scheming up the wrong offense. Maybe we could throw him out there I probably would do some end arounds with him, but like, at that point, you're just scheming up like kind of like gadget player. What did we say he was? He's a gadget player. He's not going to be like, I've been telling people, I've been arguing with people that I'm like, this guy there's nothing special about him. He can make special plays from time to time, but he's not going to be your consistent guy that's going to be out there. It's going to be your wide receiver one. On most teams, this guy's a wide receiver 3 or 4. I'm going to be honest with you. And honestly, like, at this point, if he's not going to produce in any capacity, he's just taking up snaps to me. And maybe that's something that a lot of Patriots fans don't want to hear, because a lot of Patriots fans were so just infatuated with Kendrick freaking Bourne. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just going off right now, but I didn't understand a guy that we were so infatuated with in 2020. He had one good season in 4 years, and we're like, you know what? This is the year. No, the guy was just like mediocre. I'm not saying Pop is mediocre, but I'm saying that let's stop elevating players that have proven nothing. I think Efton Chisholm and Kyle Williams need to get some tread, because at this point, what is Pop doing? Like, I don't, is it a scheme thing? What do you truly think it is? Because I'm not making excuses for him. You can go ahead.
I did like Kendrick Bourne. I did want to see what he was going to do in this system. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes out and has a pretty good season with the 49ers whenever they allow him to actually get out there on the field. But one thing that makes me a little bit optimistic about Pop Douglas is that I feel like the wide receiver core in general through 2 weeks hasn't done anything. Stephon Diggs, hasn't done a lot. I mean, he's done decent, hasn't done a lot. Kayshon Boutte did good last week, but then this week it's 1 target, 1 reception, 16 yards, and a touchdown. Douglas hasn't done anything. Matt Collins through 2 weeks hasn't done anything outside of 8 yards and a touchdown catch today. So, it just feels like the wide receiver core in general is still a massive work in progress. And so I don't want to necessarily hone in on one guy when it just feels like even the guys that have shown out.
6 yards, dude.
Not showing out. He should be better. He should be better. He should be better through 2 weeks. But we can also say the same thing, about Matt Collins. I mean, even if you want to look at Kayshon.
Yeah, but we know what Matt Collins is. We know that he's a guy that's maybe on most rosters, a big body guy. You could probably put him in the red zone and he's down there somewhere. Throw it up there and have him go get it. We've been Pop Douglas, everybody's been regarding him as the next Brandon Cooks. He's not that player. He's going to be a guy that you use when you're okay, I'm going to pass the ball to him on the screen and he's going to make something, because coming out of college, he was the shiftiest wide receiver in the draft. Per PFF, he was the shiftiest wide receiver in the draft. But that's really just his MO. He's a guy that's going to make you miss, but it's not really much more of substance, unless I don't know, man. Maybe use him in the flat more. Maybe send him on 5-yard. I don't know what to do with this guy, because honestly, at this point, he's just taking snaps away from someone else.
I do still think there's a way to get Pop Douglas involved. I'm not going to panic just yet. I'm not
panicking, but I'm just saying, I hope I'm wrong.
I think we see that Pop Douglas can make plays. I think it's just about finding ways to get him open, finding his role in this offense, and just making sure that him and Drake Maye are on the same page, because he was looking great during the offseason, and the offseason's one thing, but that is one guy that remained consistent was Pop Douglas. He looked really good in joint practices. I think you just have to go back to the drawing board and say, what did he do earlier this offseason where he was getting 50-yard touchdowns against the Patriots defense, Commanders defense, Vikings defense, balling out, but now come game day, all of a sudden he's non-existent. So I think they have to go back to the drawing board on that one. When I look at somebody like Kyle Williams, I want to see him more at some point. I want to see them give him more opportunities to develop. You can't develop if you don't give a guy, opportunities to get onto the field. And I think they will, but we have to remember too, is that I think right now Kyle Williams is a little bit behind where maybe they're comfortable with. I think that if they're not giving him those opportunities, it's probably for a reason. He's someone that can stretch the field. He's going to be your speedster on the outside. If there's any Brandon Cooks role, it's probably going to be Kyle Williams. They don't have that Nelson Aguilar, that Brandon Cooks they've always had in Josh McDaniels' offense. So I think that is certainly the role for him. But he had that concussion. He was out of practice for a few weeks. And I think those few weeks certainly didn't help him. And they definitely want to be cautious with him. They don't want to throw him out there, overload him. And now you have a Jalen Polk situation where the guy gets so effed up mentally because he put so much on his plate that he's never able to recover. So I think we'll see more Kyle Williams as the season goes along. If we get to the end of the season and they just never gave him an opportunity, I think then that's when we start to have the discussion. As for Efton Chisholm, he's the final wide receiver on the roster. I would love to see him in the game. I would love to see what would happen. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what we knew was going to happen with Efton Chisholm. If he was going to make the roster, he was going to be stacked on the roster and never see the field unless there were injuries. I mean, but the same thing happened with Julian Edelman. Unfortunately, until you prove consistently that you're someone that deserves to get on the field, you're just not going to get on the field. They're not going to put him on the field because the fans want him. And so he's year one. When he learns the system and he gets a little bit more acclimated, then he starts to have a real discussion. For me, Efton Chisholm making this final roster was never about him going out and dominating.
It's a long play.
It was him sticking around for next year to be able to continue to compete like we've seen with your Julian Edelmans, your Danny Amendolas, your Wes Welkers. So anyway.
Yeah.
You got any final thoughts here on the offense before we transition to the defense?
I mean, they played solid, man. I'm pretty sure we put up more points on offense than they did. Outside, like what we got the kick return touchdown and everything else was our offense. So that's what 26 points. They scored 20. So like, and that's our offense, who is not quite the high flying offense that theirs is. So I'll take that as a dub in my own books.
Agreed. Transitioning to the defense, I think one of the big problems from today, outside of the amount of points that they let up,
there's a big problem.
Was definitely on third down. I feel like they did their job on first and second down, and Mike Vrabel saying third down is the most important down, and they really couldn't convert there. Tua I'm trying to think what point of the game this was. This was late into the fourth quarter. He was 4 for 5 on his third down attempts. He had 3 first downs when it came to third down, and I believe he ultimately would have went. It was either 6 or 7. I think he went like 4 for 6 total on the day, because then it was that final drive that they weren't able to capitalize on. So nonetheless, the team not being able to capitalize on third down, I thought defensively was huge. Something that they do need to improve upon. I thought that between the penalties, between some of the pressure they were able to get, there was a lot of situations where Tua was in
chunk plays, man.
3rd and 20, 3rd and 25. And then what happens is he launches the ball deep down the field when everybody knows that's exactly what they're going to do. And then you got busted coverage yet again, and it's just an easy catch. I thought, let's start with the secondary. I thought that Alex Austin, really, really, really rough day. He had that blown coverage on Tyreek Hill on a 3rd and 20. He had that touchdown pass that Tua had. It was their first touchdown of the game, if I remember correctly, to Jalen Waddle. It was just really, really rough for him. But I also can only put so much of that blame on him, because why is Alex Austin one of our primary cornerbacks on Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill? It should be Carlton Davis on one of those guys, Marcus Jones on the other guy. I know that a lot of Patriots fans somehow, for some reason, hate this idea of Marcus Jones, but today's matchup was not about height. Today's matchup was about speed. You got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. Both are like 5'10". All you needed was guys that could go stride for stride with them in terms of speed, and you had that. Why Alex Austin was playing so much on those guys as a starter, I don't understand it. The Patriots yet again desperately missed Christian Gonzalez. Last week, they allowed Brock Bowers to go for over 100 yards. Then you had Jacoby Myers go for 97 total yards, so he almost went for 100
Tyreek Hill had over 100.
The same thing happened today. Tyreek Hill did not have over 30 yards for an entire calendar year, and today the Patriots let him go for over 100 yards. On top of that, you also had Jalen Waddle go for 90-some yards too. It was really, really close for him at also reaching 100 yards. So last week, the Patriots almost allowed 2 different offensive players to go for 100 yards each. This week, yet again, they allowed 2 players to also go for almost 100 yards each. And by the way, it wasn't Waddle. It was A-Chain, excuse me. Tyreek Hill went for 109 yards. A-Chain went for 92 yards. It's just not acceptable.
The biggest thing is that our cornerbacks are playing out of position, I believe. I think without Christian Gonzalez, it holds a trickle-down effect. Carlton's having to guard the 1, and Alex Austin's having to guard the 2. When these guys realistically, could Davis really guard a 1? Yes, he can guard a 1, but like not most ones. So once Christian Gonzalez comes back, they kind of shift back into what their primary position is, where Alex Austin is going to be guarding the wide receiver 3, and Carlton Davis is going to guard the 2. I just think that like until that happens, you're going to have situations where it's like there's going to be chunk plays that we need that we don't need to happen, then they're going to happen just because they're playing against guys that are kind of a step above what they're used to going against.
Yeah, the big thing for me, not even in this game, but just over the last 2 weeks, was those splash plays. We talked about it in the game preview.
Too many. I can only imagine.
9 plays last week. 9 plays of 20 yards or more. When it came to plays of 15 yards or more, it was like 10 or 11. So
I'm curious how many there were today.
Yes, same thing happened today where it was just splash play after splash play. I wouldn't be surprised if it was another 9 or 10 plays over 20 yards. You had Tyreek Hill averaging 18.2 yards per reception. A-Chain averaging 11.5. Waddle averaging 13.6. Like, you just can't win football games when you're allowing them to be put in a situation where they're in one play immediately in field goal position. It's just not how you're going to win football games. So the secondary certainly does have to be better. I do agree with you that when Gonzo does come back, that I think that will help this defense, and Carlton Davis playing realistically where he should be. Like, it kind of comes back to what we were saying several different times over the last couple of years, and that's they didn't have the talent for guys to play where they should. They had guys playing a spot above or two realistically where they should be. And it feels like right now in the secondary without Gonzo, that's exactly what's happening. The other thing too is that Terrell Williams obviously was not there today because he's been dealing with a personal matter that we don't know exactly what that is. So
rest up.
Exactly. So it was the Patriots linebackers coach and Mike Vrabel. They were the defensive coordinator today. So I wonder if that had any, possible input on why maybe they struggled a little bit here today also, and some inconsistencies. But Rob, the other thing that I do want to say too is that this defense, they need to do better at putting those guys in positions that they succeed in. Last week, how many guys covered Brock Bowers? It wasn't just let's put Carlton Davis on Brock Bowers. It was let's put everybody and their mother on Brock Bowers to try to complicate it so they don't know who's covering who. But it bit the Patriots in the butt last week, and it feels like it bit the Patriots in the butt this week. Again, why is Alex Austin out there as much as he is defending Tyreek Hill? Why do you have Robert Spillane going one-on-one in coverage with Devon Achane? It's just plays like that where get our playmakers on their playmakers and stop giving them these matchups that they know that they're going to win in.
I think honestly, not having Terrell Williams or something consistent at defensive coordinator kind of muddies what the message is being portrayed, because I hope he rests up. But at this point, like if the message is not going to be clear, because it's like every once in a while, this guy, he's sick, and it has a trickle down effect. I hope when he comes back, he can come back and be healthy for a long time, because that way we don't have to complicate the message that's being said. Because although, like, I think Zach did decent today, like, there was just another day of, like, so many trunk plays, so many back-breaking plays. And it's just, like, I'm curious as to, like, was this Terrell Williams' game plan? Was this Zach's game plan? Was it the fact that we were doing a lot of last minute stuff that really kind of like muddied the water? And maybe moving forward, have him stay at home for a little bit, be around the family, and like really get himself healthy. That way, when he comes back, the message will be clearer.
When do you hit that panic button with Terrell Williams?
Honestly, like, I'm not trying to say these things to be insensitive, but like, honestly, like, there's been quite a few times where he's been sick, and I'm like, for me, from being a family man, I got a daughter now. If I was sick doing my job and I was getting to a point where I was at his age, I would just stay at home, because at that point, it's like, is it really worth risking your health for something like this, where honestly, like, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So honestly, like, I think that right now, rest up. But if by like mid-season he comes back, because I think he needs to take some extended time off, and then he comes back and another health scare comes out, a conversation should be had where it's like, hey, listen, man, you need to be with family.
It kind of comes down to this philosophy of availability is the best ability. And that's not just for players, but that's also for coaches, because if there's no real guidance, but there's different voices in the defensive locker room, then it's hard to build the identity. There's one guy with one identity, then there's Vrabel, and other guys with.
And we don't want to see something. And we don't want to see something really bad happen to him, because what they had to call the ambulance or whatever, or they had to call the medical staff because like we had a health scare. Like, I'm not saying these things to be insensitive, people. I'm saying these things as a family man that like I can relate. In the aspect that like I wouldn't want to be out there if I really feel like my health is in a critical condition, and this team can't have the message be different every week from a defensive coordinator. Like, the message because we're gonna fit to whatever Zach wants this defense to be. But if the only real person that can deliver what Terrell Williams' vision is Terrell Williams, and if he's not out there to be available and delivering that message, it's kind of hard to like paint that picture, if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument, all right, why don't we just do all this stuff on Zoom? But not being there physically makes it a lot more difficult. So, look, I'm not hitting the panic button either, just like Rob said, but obviously
no,
you have
don't.
to ask
but
the
like,
question, because there's been a lot of these moments where Terrell Williams hasn't been with the team a lot. And so it's hard when we don't know what exactly the circumstance was. But for me, I'd probably get to the end of the season and then you decide to make that, hey, look, we either need you back with the football team or you need to go and take your health more serious and come back to football when you're able to, so that we can have a distinct voice on what we're trying to do with this defense. But right now, again, I wouldn't panic, but it certainly is a question for a reason. But let's go ahead and let's get into these super chats. You guys are being extremely, extremely generous. Want to start off here with Eric, who comes in with a $10 donation, says, "What's up, guys? I just wanted to mention that the lack of targeted wide receivers today. I know 2 scored touchdowns, but Stevenson was our leading receiver today. Need those wide receivers to contribute more down the line." Eric, we completely agree with you. Again, they were able to win the way that the Miami Dolphins defense allowed them to, and that's the most important thing. But at the end of the day, with a lot of the questions about these wide receivers, with some of the inconsistencies with this team, still needing that ability to push the football down the field, at some point, you're going to need your wide receivers. And I don't think it's a situation, because I've heard people mention, well, do you think it's something where, Drake Maye doesn't love working with receivers because he loves that big body target operating in between the numbers? And I don't think that's the case, because you can still have a big body wide receiver. You can still have receivers operate in between the numbers. And even then, it still feels like those guys still aren't exactly.
I just think there's a lot of new faces. Like it's like the chemistry is just not like, this guy has played before this, 9 games, 10 games. The chemistry is not there yet. Like it's not gonna, like, there's still more to be built. There's more puzzle pieces to be put together to really build this offense and make sure these wide receivers get on the same page with him. Because like I said, that one pass to Stephon Diggs, maybe that's a completion if they know what each other's thinking. But this takes time.
The way that I see it is, your number one priority is Drake Maye, right? And so I do wonder if it's only 2 weeks, but I do wonder if they say we need to make sure that Drake Maye is right. Drake Maye is confident, so we don't ruin his confidence, or he gets messed up, or his mechanics get completely away from him. So right now, their main focus is making sure Drake Maye is comfortable, confident, he's in a good head place, his mechanics are correct. And when they feel they're in a good place with Drake Maye, maybe they start putting the emphasis on the wide receivers and say, Drake, maybe we want to start pushing the ball more to these wide receivers rather than you taking the checkdowns and playing it as safe. So I wonder if when he's at a solidified point, they start opening things up a little bit more also.
I mean, Josh McDaniels, I'll keep going back to it. Josh McDaniels said he starts with a cup and it becomes a bucket. So, like, there's still knowledge to be learned. There's still, this offense is not a finished product. This is not what you're going to see week 8, week 16. This is still an evolution, something that's constantly evolving.
Agreed. Shout out to Damon, who comes in with a $2 donation, said, "Good game. Both return touchdowns were crazy, dude." Again, check out my
GG,
my
brother.
channel here and my
GG.
Instagram and all. But that 12 seconds had me dealing with
Dude,
heart
it was
palpitations,
so
man.
great. My head is pounding right. Lost my voice.
I was dealing with some absolute heart palpitations in those 12 seconds, man. But
Bro,
man, sorry about the L. Sorry about the L, bro. But it just means that you're gonna reset, which at this point for Dolphins fans should be exciting. Shout out to D, who comes in here with a $5 donation and said, "Let's stop making excuses for McDaniels." So, he doesn't know how to use skill players and doesn't scheme players open. The offense is outdated. It worked at one point, but I think at this point, yeah, and nobody's bought in. The offensive line sucks. Nobody's bought in. Tyreek is 50% checked out. So
some people are just meant to be offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and he doesn't have I hate to say it, I don't want to be that guy, but he doesn't have a tough bone in his body. And maybe he's just not a rah-rah guy. And sometimes you need that. It's not always about how much of a genius you are if you're not really a guy that can motivate the guys. And especially when you're having a players only meeting week 1, that should have been like the biggest, like, okay, yeah, this season's over. If you're having a players only meeting week 1, that's terrible.
Sorry, I'm reacting to the chat right now. The Colts beat Denver. Wow.
Hey,
that means the Colts are now 2-0.
Steichen's a very good coach. He's a very good coach. People forget how good of a coach he is. And this is a guy that was a good coordinator, and now he's showing that he's a good head coach. Except if you can make Daniel, what did Daniel Jones do today? I know I'm not trying to sidetrack, but go ahead.
I have no clue what he did today, but still, that's crazy that they beat Denver. The fact that he was able to work around that defense is insane. And the thing, too, is that Bo Nix and the Broncos, they didn't look good last week. They won, but they didn't look good against the Titans. So, I don't know. I said I don't think Bo Nix is going to be as good this year, and I could see
he's not a good quarterback, bro.
Back. Yeah,
he was close to the top of the league in check down passes. Like, this guy is not that great. I keep saying it, and people keep like I don't see the hype behind him. He's like Mac Jones with a better coach and better offense.
Moving on here to
the
super chat.
Daniel Jones for MVP, 316 yards and a touchdown.
316. He threw for what 300 something last week too.
God, you're gonna tell me he's not like
was in a really bad situation too with the Giants. Like let's be honest.
Look, I'll quickly hit on this. The Giants and the Jets are the most losingest franchises in the last 15 years. Go look up the stat. They're terrible.
Exactly. So could Daniel Jones be a serviceable player for?
I mean, this is exactly why. And I know I'll leave it at this real quick. This is exactly why you don't give up on your quarterback too quickly. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and now possibly Daniel Jones.
Yeah, you just got to put him in position to succeed. Shout out to diehard Pats fan who comes in here with a $10 donation. Said, "Hey y'all, let's give Colby and Rob the win today, as well as smashing that like button so that they get the credit they deserve." PG
diehard in here again, back-to-back weeks.
Hey man, look. Hey man, I'm losing my voice for you guys, but it's well worth it.
Hey, diehard, send me an Instagram message, brother. I'll follow you back. You've been showing a lot of love. We love you, brother.
Is a real one. Die is a real one. But yeah, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button and hype up the video too. The new feature here on YouTube. It helps support the channel and the videos tremendously with all the hard work that gets put into them. So let's see that like button fly up. Shout out to my boy Lino TV with the $5 donation. Said, "Hey man, told you were gonna beat the bum Finns. Do you have the Jets next week? If so, smack them around like we did today. #Bills Mafia." Man,
we got the Steelers.
The Bills laid the pounding on the Jets. Like, the fact that Richie thought they were going to win that game was crazy to me. But
Richie's smoking something.
Actually, I think, if I remember correctly, I think TD also said that the Jets were going to win. So I don't know what they were on. That was never going to happen. I'm glad that you guys put them in their place. We play the Steelers next week, and then is week 4 the Jets?
I don't know. I'll look it up. But all I know is that
the Panthers.
I think we need to stop. I think people are hyping up Justin Fields too much, and they need to realize that the Jets are just they're gonna do what they do best, and they're gonna jet. They had one good game against the Steelers, and guys, this is why you don't overblow week 1, because it's anybody can give it to you week 1. You can throw all your tools out there in week 1, and then it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So it's week 1 is not an indication of what team you're going to be. And I think the Jets are just doing what they do best, and that's be a dumpster fire.
We play the Jets late this year, so it's going to
really,
yeah.
Good. I don't care.
Them, the second half of the season twice. We don't play them early this year. It goes Steelers and then Panthers, and then the Saints are up after that, but. Dude, right now, 20-17, 3 minutes left, Eagles and the Chiefs. Can you imagine the Chiefs drop 2 in a row? Actually, it'd be 3 in a row because of the Super Bowl.
I'm not so as a respect thing for the Chiefs. I'm not gonna write them off quite yet, but I have to call it as I see it. His yards per attempt and he leads the league in check downs. Patrick Mahomes is literally a Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid merchant. I've been saying this for the longest time. I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback. Obviously, he's a legendary quarterback winning 3 Super Bowls. But I think that I don't see people lauding him so much. So he just makes a lot of boneheaded plays when you need him not to.
Look, Rob, as we know, the teams that do go 0-2, it's statistically hard for them to.
So was it 12%?
Yeah, something like that. It really doesn't.
Yeah, but it's the Chiefs.
Exactly. You don't want to write them off, but nonetheless, even if they make the playoffs, they don't feel right now like the same Chiefs. I know there's a lot of injuries there, but it doesn't feel like a lot of momentum.
Here's my thing. So obviously the Chargers and Raiders haven't played yet, But this division they're in, nobody fears Patrick Mahomes anymore. He once you don't have your Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce kind of looks like a shell of himself. It's now you're going to have to play with wide receivers that Brady had to throw to, like mailman for his first 7 years, when he doesn't have those guys that are the real field stretchers. But we're running on a tangent.
Per usual.
That's okay. We like to
exactly.
We like to talk
about football. Matthew comes in with a $2 donation and says Bo Nix is literally 2022 Mac Jones. Dude, like, that's what scared me about Bo Nix and why I didn't want him, is because I was like, this guy is so reminiscent of Mac Jones. I'm not saying he's going to be, but like, that scares me too much. What happened? He balled out last year and everybody was like, oh my gosh, like he's going to be something. Everybody thought Mac Jones was going to be something after year one. Right now, he's on the same trajectory as Mac Jones is, okay? And until I see something different, I'm standing by it.
I never got the hype behind Bo Nix. Yes, Mac Jones made some good throws every once in a while, some deep throws. Listen, every squirrel every once in a while gets a nut. It's not about, like, you got to be consistent. And I told you, like, it's year 2 now. Teams got the tape on you. They don't have the tape on Drake Maye yet because the guy had crap around him. And they said that this guy was better than Drake Maye. Oh, I'm getting fired up. I'm sorry.
The Chiefs dynasty is known as the Temu dynasty. That's a fact.
See what happens when the refs are on your back pocket every other play. By the way, and I know this. I'll leave it. This is just the last thing I'm going to say about this game because we've got to get back to talking about the Patriots. Patrick Mahomes has more roughing the passers in 8 years than Tom Brady had in 23.
That's crazy.
Look it up.
But
he also has the most interceptions called back by a wide fucking margin. I'll put $1 in the curse jar.
Getting back here into the Patriots defense, though, we talked about that secondary, but Rob, what were your thoughts on what you saw from that pass rush department?
I mean, I thought that they were getting. They did all right. I would have liked to have gotten more pressure because it's like on the right side they were without their starting right guard and their starting right tackle. So you would think that like we would get more pressure, but Tua is a guy that will get the ball out quicker than you can get to him. So I thought they did decent. But when you had to have the plays that you needed to have, whether it was Milton Williams saying, hey, listen, I'm calling game, or Harold Landry, I think a play or two before getting a crucial stop. Look, I think they played solid, and it's only going to get better.
Agreed. I'm trying to find sack. Oh, wait, hold up. That's why I'm on the wrong one. Want to get the exact sack numbers. I know the Patriots had 5 sacks today. I just want to make sure that I get it correct on who exactly had what. And yeah, so the Patriots had 5 total sacks today. I feel like the pressure was there more than people are giving it credit for. But the reason that you weren't seeing the pressure get home as much is because that is the offense that the Miami Dolphins like to run. Tua was getting the ball out so quick. Like, there wasn't a whole lot over the top. There were, now and then the dinks and the 20, 25-yard plays down there to Tyreek and Waddle. But for the most part, it was a lot of, I'm going to give it off to A-Chain. It's going to be a check down. It's going to be a screen pass. And he's going to get 12, 15 yards easy just from that. And because he's getting the ball out so quick, it doesn't matter how good the pressure is. I mean, I said this on Bleacher Report. You could have the Miami Dolphins left tackle completely whiff on a block and a free Patriots rusher comes in. But as long as Tua gets the ball out before he gets there, it really doesn't matter. And that's what it felt like in this game, is that Tua was getting the ball out in a split second. And so the pass rush early on didn't really matter. But I feel like in the second half, that's where the defensive line and the pressure really started to make its name heard, especially in the fourth quarter when it mattered the most. I mean, you had Harold Landry with the sack late in this game, Milton Williams with 2 sacks in this game. One of them was to seal the win for the Patriots. Robert Spillane had a sack. Caleb Chason had a sack. So you definitely see in a continuation on what we saw last week against the Raiders. Patriots still looking like one of the better pass rushes and defensive lines in the NFL, but I think it's still something that you want to see a little bit more consistently.
Agreed. But
Perfect.
like look, man, the moment Christian, like I keep on saying it, but the moment Christian Gonzalez comes back, that means it's going to be hard to pass the football. That means that our defensive line is going to get home more, because it's like, okay, I have nowhere to throw the football. So that means that they're going to get home a lot quicker and a lot more often. You don't need to have so many guys at the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. That was my other thing too, is that the other reason that Tua was able to get the ball out so quick was because the coverage wasn't holding up in the back end. So when you get Gonzo back, and if the coverage can hold up on his backside, then you're going to see the Patriots get a lot more sacks. You're going to see them get a lot more pressure. I think we saw that into the fourth quarter when the Patriots started to get sacks. It was because the coverage started to pick up a little bit. They made some last-minute adjustments that allowed them to say, all right, Tua, you can't stay in the pocket anymore. And I said this last week. When you get, or I said this earlier this week, when you get Tua out of the pocket and you get him throwing on the run, that is when he is his worst. And that's what we saw. I mean, you had Craig Woodson should have had an interception today, but he fell. Then you had Marte Mapu with an interception because of the same thing. They got Tua out of the pocket, forced him to throw on the run, and that's when he sucks. If you let Tua stay in the pocket with the clean pocket and pick you apart, he's going to kill you all day. And we saw that at times today.
He's one of the best at doing that, man. But like Xavier Howard gave you the blueprint. Make him throw towards the middle of the field. Make him throw on the run. Make him uncomfortable. And that's what we did today. I mean, but that's a guy that, look, don't crap on Tua too much. The guy, he's a damn good quarterback.
He's an all right quarterback. You know, he's good, but
I think he's pretty damn good, dude. I think, look, as Pats fans, I think we kind of like to crap on him, but like, he's really accurate. I think that like his coach is stupid.
I like Tua I like Tua the person more than Tua the football player. But another, like, I want to say standout for me, but like a concern for me was the injuries. You had Carlton Davis go out with an injury, Christian Barmore go out with an injury, Craig Woodson go out with an injury. And so that's 3 players off the top of my head. Key defensive players that did go out. Now, they all returned, and that's the biggest and most important thing, but nonetheless, something you want to watch moving forward, because those are all big, big pieces for you that are going to be essential for you to thrive the way that you want. I thought Craig Woodson overall had a pretty good game today. Again, I mean, 6 total tackles, 4 solo tackles. Didn't necessarily make a lot of plays, but I thought he was good in terms of his closing speed, in terms of his hits. So one of the highest graded safeties last week. I think it's going to remain that way.
Chiefs lost.
Chiefs lost?
I mean, it's 1 minute left, and I'm pretty sure that the Chiefs have no more timeouts, and I'm pretty sure that they're kneeling right now.
The Eagles have the football?
Eagles have the football.
Oh yeah, they lost that thing. That's
hey, by
crazy,
the way, S27. No, he's not on Brady's level. Stop it. Brady lost 3 Super Bowls by a combined 15 points. Stop it. Mahomes lost by 34 points in that Super Bowl. I'm not taking that garbage touchdowns.
That's 34. Crazy though. They lost back-to-back games, and
who they got next? Dude, I don't know why we're invested in this, but I just like to see the Chiefs' demise, because they keep comparing this bum to Brady.
That's why it's personal for Patriots fans. It's like you keep hearing it's Brady and it's the new dynasty and they're a competition for the Patriots. We try to say no, so it's like that's why. Also, I'd like to watch a Super Bowl that's different, to do it respectfully.
That's not like where, like, God knows how many times that like there was a blatant flag that was like picked up, or a ghost flag that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Oh, they'll win next week.
They got the Giants. Look, I wouldn't sleep on the Giants. That D-line's nasty.
Yeah, but they gave up like 40 to the Cowboys today.
I have hope.
The Ravens, the Lions.
Oh no, Bills, they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
I think there could be quite a few losses for the Chiefs this year.
They might not make the playoffs. And they got the Colts coming up. Oh, they're in trouble. They only have like one gimme game coming up. Certainly, maybe the Jaguars, maybe the Giants, Jaguars. The Raiders are no slouch anymore. Commanders, Bills, Broncos, Colts, Cowboys. Bro, they're in for trouble.
Rude awakening, my friend. Rude awakening.
They're not winning the division. I'm calling it right now.
But Rob, let me know your thoughts to kind of wrap this up before we allow any Patreon members on. What are your thoughts about Andy Borgales? Because obviously last week missed the kick. In this game, he goes 2 for 2 on field goals, long kick of 53, but goes 1 for 3 on extra points. Really could cost the Patriots at the end of the day. There was a moment where the Patriots were going to go for it. It was on that final offensive drive, 4th and 5.
And then we got a turnover. Not a penalty.
They were going to go for it, but it was a penalty on the Patriots. 4th and 10. Then instead of going for it, they decide to elect to bring out Andy Borgales, who makes the field goal. So that's good. It was a 53-yarder. Allowed the Patriots to really win this game because it allowed them to go up by 6 rather than being up by 3, which would have made this a very different game. But still, you have misses in every single game of your pro career so far to today. What do you think the future of Borgales holds, and what would you do?
I don't know, dude. It's concerning because it's like you go look at week 1. If he makes the field goal, we are going for a touchdown instead of kicking a field goal to possibly like onside kick it or possibly get the ball back if our defense gets a stop. No, like it's really now it's getting. I know it's week 2, but it's concerning because it's like okay. If he would have missed that 53-yard field goal, okay. But you're missing the extra points. I'm not saying that like I can kick those field goals or those extra points. I clearly can't. That's why I'm not in the NFL. But these are the gimme plays that he needs to have, and he doesn't. And I don't know if it's just like what's between the ears is a confidence issue. But I'm slamming the panic button on this. I know it's really early, but I'm really panicking now because it's like. He didn't even win the kicker battle in the offseason. Parker Romo did. So, like, I think because of the fact that he was drafted, we that's the reason why he stuck around. And I think that's a shame because it's like you had no problem getting rid of Jalen Polk and all these other guys, no matter their draft status. But then a guy like Borgales, who honestly, like, I was talking to my fiance. I'm like, these 2 extra points are going to come back to bite us in the ass. And thankfully they didn't. But it could have been a lot worse, man.
Yeah, I agree. And the unfortunate thing, too, is that if you did need to move on, one, can't go to Joey Sly. He's not available. Can't go to Nick Folk. He's not available. Can't go to John Parker Romo. He's currently the kicker for the Atlanta Falcons because they demoted Younghoe Koo. So maybe there's a world in which if this really
I think Koo is injured.
Oh, is he injured?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard they just benched him. So
I'm pretty sure he's injured.
Either way, chances are that they're not going to roll with 2 kickers on the active roster. So even if you have to trade and send a late round pick, if this really does get bad enough, maybe you try to bring on Younghoe Koo or you try to bring on a John Parker Romo to bring him back. I just don't love the free agents at the kicker position. But right now, I don't think they're going to move on from him. I'm certainly worried. Like you said, it certainly is a liability, but they knew that these issues presented themselves. They knew that Parker Romo was the better kicker. They knew that as of late, the guy that was better was Parker Romo, but they decided to move on because they didn't want a guy on the back of his heels of your rookie kicker. They didn't want him to get in his head. They gave him the job. I think that they're going to continue to allow him to do so until he proves that, yeah, he's missing a kick every single game. This isn't a guy that you want to roll with because the second that you bench him is the second that he gets screwed up in the mind. And I think the problem is that the Patriots have moved on from guys too soon in the past. Chad Ryland dealt with his struggles.
Yeah.
Instead of allowing him to work through it, they got rid of him. What happened? He's a starting caliber kicker now for the Arizona Cardinals. And the last thing you want is to prematurely move on from a rookie 2 games in, and then he goes out there and he's a starting kicker for someone else. And now you have another massive question on who's your kicker going to be. So I don't think they're going to give up just yet, but I do think that they are losing confidence and they do seem as a liability, which is why on 4th and 5, instead of kicking the field goal, they were going to go for it.
Yeah, I'm not like saying get rid of him, but I'm definitely rattled by it because it's like we just got lucky. I'm be honest with you in terms of like that those points didn't come back to bite us in the butt because say he would have got the A-chain didn't step out of bounds. If you get those extra points, we don't have to worry about like, oh, they're going to be ahead because they tied it with a touchdown and kicked the extra point. No, you would have been like up by 1 and it's like, okay, they got to go for 2. That's just how I see it. It's like, just don't put us in situations where it's like, okay, it's a make or break. Like, and it's just like, I can get around to you missing field goals here and there. I can't get around to you missing extra points. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. Those should be the gimmies, right? I mean, they're going to go with the guy that's more reliable at the end of the day, and not the guy that, okay, I can hit from 60, but...
And it's not even just that,
20.
man. We know how it gets in Boston, and the weather it's not going to be so... It's going to get colder. It's going to be harder to kick that football. What happens when, like, air pressure is a real thing? The guy is from Miami. He doesn't know what it feels like to play in cold weather. So what happens if it's a crucial moment, we make the playoffs, and this guy's kicking in the snow? Do you feel confident in him drilling a 40, 30, even a 30-yard field goal? I don't. And I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm saying that, like, this is definitely concerning because he's like, this is favorable weather, albeit the first week was a little bit rainy, but this week was favorable weather here in Miami. This is somewhere that this is your backyard, and you're missing kicks. It's like, this can't happen.
Yeah, to worry some, and it's certainly unacceptable. But let's go ahead and let's transition to the Patreon members. We got DTN behind the scenes. Let's see what he has to say about this New England Patriots win. DTN, what's going on?
What up, guys? Currently, I'm just chilling right now, so hopefully the signal's working because I'm in a train right now. But
we can hear you, bud.
Okay, that's perfect. I want to do something different. So I will save my recap for my upcoming episode of the Patriots Mayflower Voyage episode, but I want to come on just to hype up all the Pats fans who have been dealing with this horrific, who have been dealing with, like, all the turmoil, and now we finally did something that I don't think that we have done in a long-ass time. We finally beat the Miami Dolphins at home since 2019. We have finally scored more than 30 points since week 6 back in 2022 against the Jacoby Brissett-led Browns. I can't believe that. I'm so excited to see what Drake Maye has in store for us. He is definitely my clear winner. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. Oh, just give it. I want to give him all the flowers. That's what I want to see from my quarterback. Now to those naysayers who say that Drake Maye is this, Drake Maye is that. Sit down, buddy. Sit down. I'm talking to you, TD. I'm talking to you, Glenn. I'm talking to you, Richie. And most of all, and I know Colby hates him the most,
We're talking to you, Edward.
King Lowski.
We're talking to you, Edward, in the chat.
But big time,
I'll take all the shots I can take.
Because Lowski has been.
We're talking to you, Michaela. I don't know if you're watching this, Michaela. We're talking to you.
King Lowski.
I'm sorry. I'm taking all the damn shots. I'm petty as hell.
More like Baby Lowski. Him and Just Forever should stay in the bottom and be.
Let me cut you off real quick, DTN. Stay on that side of the fence. Don't come back over here because we got all the damn receipts now.
Exactly. I'm talking about Lowski. I'm talking about Just Forever. These two have been talking massive crap to Drake Maye and the rest of the Patriots for what they have been going through. Justin Fields is nothing. Tua, he may have looked impressive, but that's only because he took advantage of us. But that doesn't matter. We own you. We're second in the division next to the Buffalo Bills. Sit down. You are the bottom brothers until you win against us.
Absolutely.
I gotta let it out because it's been a while since I've been on the AFC East roundtable. But I want to take this platform to hype up all these Patriots fans who have been dealing with the slump for the past 2 years, and I really want to hype this thing up. Big time, baby.
all the people that are not patient. Hey, listen, we can go out next week and lose. But I'm gonna tell you right now, be freaking patient. Stop like jumping to conclusions. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, exactly. And even though I'm going to take a recap, I want to give my winners and losers for that game. So my winners for that game is 100% from Andre Stevenson. He definitely bounced back passing-wise and rushing-wise. I hope that he is back to what he used to be during his rookie season and potentially his second year of the second year of his career. My second winner is definitely Drake Maye. It's 100% Drake Maye after his
Draco
impressive performance.
Maye. Hey, Edward. I'm sorry, I'm being real petty right now. Edward, didn't you pick the Dolphins to win this game? Sit down. Don't talk. You've lost your right to comment this week. Stop.
I love that, Rob, because I predicted the Patriots to beat the Dolphins in my episode. That's where the evidence is, buddies. And then my third win. And then my third
the Dolphins are gonna beat the Patriots. Nope, psych, didn't happen.
And then my third winner is 100% Milton Williams, where he actually made that critical play at the very end. You gave him all of this money to be that guy, and oh my gosh, Milton Williams laid the hammer for us. So I'm really impressive about Milton Williams and how this defensive line can be destructive for us. Unfortunately for my losers, my first loser is definitely going to be the secondary, but that's only because I want to say that without Gonzo, it actually sucks that we don't have Gonzo on the field, but could we also place the factor that we should have never let go Mike Pellegrino, and instead we got a coach who was the
that was a sneaky pull. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because he was the assistant quarterbacks coach to the Indianapolis Colts, and look what happened to the Indianapolis Colts when they're second last season. They looked like utter crap. I don't know why we let Mike Pellegrino go to the Buffalo Bills, but that sucks on you, Mike Rabel, for letting Mike Pellegrino go, unfortunately. My second loser is definitely Andres Borregales. If you can't kick, especially in the hot week, in your alma mater in Miami, that is not how you should. That's a no-go. And besides, you played only in Miami and Venezuela. That is a total embarrassment from those two. And then, unfortunately, my third loser, it has to be Pop, because we haven't seen Pop popping up like he wants to. So I hope he bounces back. But at this point, since we haven't seen him popping off, that is a no-go for me. So there are my winners and losers.
Good ones, DTN.
Absolutely love it, man. DTN, we appreciate you so much for coming on the show, buddy. We will see you
definitely
next week. We will definitely see you next week, my guy. Be safe.
If you guys want to hear my recap, stay tuned for my tomorrow's episode of the Patriots Mayflower Voyage, where we will break it down from my thoughts and then my colleagues' thoughts on that show. And I bet you need a therapy session.
We appreciate it, DTN.
DTN with the bars.
Make sure to tune in. Stay safe, brothers. Stay safe. You know what I love about that is that the entire time that he was doing that, like, he was actually on the train. I'm watching him like speak bars, and he's just like on the train going off, like full DTN, not even like guys, like I'm on the train, but like Milton Williams body. He was like,
he's like, no, you all are gonna hear me. Hey, listen, go Pats. You're gonna hear me. Some old lady in the back's like, I don't want to hear. Why is this guy screaming? Why is he screaming at his phone?
Dude, that was awesome. Mike dropped pizza. Yeah, that was beautiful. But guys, that is going to end it off for today's episode. Want to tell you guys too, real quick, to just make sure you check out the AFC East Roundtable. Okay, for those who don't know what it is me covering the Patriots. It's my friend Richie. He's covering the Jets. My boy Dan covering the Bills, and TD covering the Dolphins. Live every single Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and then every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we preview these games. We all give our thoughts on every game of the AFC East each and every single week. And on Mondays, we break it down. We give our raw reaction. So the thing that disappoints me, though, is that every single week, the Patriots are the last team in the poll for who is dominating viewership. Guys, why are we letting Jets fans and Dolphins fans show up more than we are? We are the all-time runners of the AFC East. We own the AFC East. We own every team in the AFC East. We're the most successful franchise in NFL history. We should be dominating that poll as the number one fan base every single week. So do me a favor, go dominate the poll in the AFC East Roundtable tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And make sure you subscribe to the AFC East Roundtable, okay? Because I want to see you guys start dominating. I want to see Patriots fans take over the comment section of the AFC East Roundtable. No more Jets, no more Dolphins. The Patriots deserve respect, and we're only going to get that respect if we start showing out as a community. So let's bring it all together. Let's go to the AFC East Roundtable and show them that we are about to run this bit, okay? That's all that I'm going to say. Rob, any last thoughts before we log off?
Go Pats. Let's go. Let's go.
Pats, baby. That's it. Just go Pats. Go Pats. Look, me and Rob will be back on Friday to preview Patriots and Steelers. Certainly going to be a fun one to talk about, especially given the history of both of these teams. So make sure you guys subscribe here to Patriots Global for all your New England Patriots watch parties, post-game recaps, previews, and everything in between. We drop a lot of Patriots content in here every single day. So make sure you guys subscribe here. Leave a like on the video on your way out. Follow Rob on Instagram. Right there is the handle @Patriots7. Best Instagram content for the New England Patriots, whether it's his thoughts, whether it is stats, whether it is interviews. He posts everything to keep you updated with what's going on with this team over on Instagram. So follow him over there. But until next time, appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.